This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Hello, this is Igoro, host of the Igoro Show, and you are listening to the Steve and Crypto Show. So keep your ears open and your mouth shut.
Hey, welcome to the Steve and Crypto Show, presented by thestevestrout.com. I am Steve.
I'm Crypto Zoo. We are on episode 117. Can you believe it? We're just going and going. We're a little tired after CryptoCon, but we're here.
We are going and going, and we're going to keep on going and going with your help. You guys have been helping us and sharing and spreading the word, but I need you to keep doing it. You can follow us on social media. He's CryptoZoo88. I am the Steve Strout. That is on Instagram and Twitter. Follow us over there. Chat with us. Share all the stuff we post, like every single thing. No matter what it is, just share it. And let's beat that algorithm. And the group, we have the Facebook group, Steve and Crypto Show Podcast Facebook group. You go in there and post stuff about anything you're working on, any project you've seen that looks cool, or just join a conversation that's already happening. And, of course, we'll be promoting this shit out of the Steve and Crypto Show in there because it's called the Steve and Crypto Show group.
Of course. That's what it's for, but it's also there for all of you guys that are working on something that's creative, pop culture related. As long as it's not, like, political or religious, then we're cool with it, really, you know. But extra points if it's horror related.
So you could do that, or you could visit our Patreon. It's at patreon.com/SteveCrypto. You can go there and pledge any amount monthly to have access to all the stuff we post in there. We post movie sort of reviews. They're more like opinion columns. They're less reviews and more just us telling you our thoughts. less reviewish and more opinion-ish. And very, very spoilerish.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so if you want to give us money to spoil movies for you, patreon.com, that's the place
to go. But we do that. Occasionally we'll post like an unboxing video. We'll post, photo galleries and little mini commentary about shit we've been up to that we can't. Maybe more personal stuff.
Yeah.
I'll do a mini podcast with Ryan, my fiance, about games. We love games. We're obsessed with games. 2/3 of our house is filled with games. Maybe not 2/3. I'd say about 1/5 of our house.
I'm holding up a stack of games right now that are just leaning towards me.
We have to sit on piles of games to do this. And we are also on Buy Me a Coffee. BuyMeACoffee.com. It's basically like a tipping service. It's like a one-time donation to the show. That helps. BuyMeACoffee.com/SteveCrypto. All money that comes into the show goes back into the show, whether it be upgrading equipment, whether it be paying for our like we record remotely via Zoom. We have all those fees and all that stuff. Like we pay for that.
It's free for you guys to listen, but it actually costs money just to stream a podcast.
Yeah, a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit.
Yeah.
We advertise a little bit here and there when we can. And we kick back some to other creators too, because we're not only creators ourselves, but we like to support and promote others, which obviously you've figured that out if you've been listening for the past 116 episodes.
Yeah.
There's that. Of course, we have merch on Etsy. You could search Steve and Crypto Show merch, and it'll come up, and there'll be like mugs and 2 different T-shirts and magnets, and that's about it. maybe you'll catch us at a convention or nerdy gathering, and we'll have hats and pins and stuff too. But circling back to the merch page, I did say it's on Etsy, but I know a guy that actually knows and memorizes the URL.
Who's that?
Page. Some fucking guy that's always here hanging out on this damn show with me.
Etsy/shop/Steve and Crypto Merch. Get it now.
Apparently, my co-host is Michael Jackson. Surprise.
Come on now, let's get with it. What's next?
So there's that, and you could also rate and review the podcast wherever you listen. That probably goes further than any other ways to support the show. It helps us move up rankings and get noticed in search engines and all that stuff.
We've said it before. There's a million podcasts to listen to. No joke. There's so many. I mean, if you're new to the podcast game, just type in something that you like. Type in a name of someone that you follow or whatever, and they probably have their own show or they've been on shows before that you could listen to.
Just type in Steve and Crypto. That's the only thing you need to type in.
But the more like positive reviews we get, the more, hopefully 5-star reviews we get, the more our name is going to pop out there for people that are searching for horror shows, pop culture shows, whatever. So we appreciate everybody who has reviewed our show so far. And thank you.
And don't you want everybody to hear your third favorite podcast?
Yeah, if you like something, don't you want other people to check it out and hopefully like it as well?
I like something, not as much as I like this or this, but it's like my third favorite. Yeah. And that's where Steve and Crypto comes in.
That's fine. We're happy with sitting right there. If we get the third spot, Ludacris gets the number 1 spot. If we get the third, I'm fine. I don't care who has the second spot.
Is Ludacris even relevant anymore? Are we that low on the list?
He was coming for that number 1 spot. Didn't he eventually get it?
Are we that low on the list that we're behind irrelevant Ludacris?
I mean, have you been in a flying car yet? Have you gone to space in a car? I'm still working on that.
I don't think I want to. I'd rather be right here with my games and co-host making the third best podcast in somebody's world.
We sure try.
Somebody's world. I don't know who, but somebody's. But there are a lot of other great podcasts, as you mentioned.
Of course, we are part of the Deluxe Edition Network, also known as The Den. We are one of like 20 different podcasts on there that you can check out. I mean, they vary in content from sports-related shows to horror to, just like movie reviews. As I said, horror, we're definitely not the only horror guys on there. But the 2 shows that are featured for this month are The Real Drunks and Horsing Around.
Is that a podcast of the month on the Deluxe Edition Network?
That's right. So we definitely suggest that you guys check out everything they have to offer over there. Especially go check out Real Drunks and Horsing Around. Let them know what you think. Give them a review.
And where can they find the Deluxe Edition Network?
You can go to deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
And, of course, follow them on social media. I know they're on at least Instagram.
Yeah.
So, at Deluxe Edition Network.
Yep.
So, we've been up to a lot of stuff, like we said at the top of the show. I think we said that.
We've been a couple busy little podcasters.
So busy, I don't even know what we've been talking about. Last few episodes, we were getting busy hyping up for Crypticon, which is our local horror convention here in the Northwest. And that kept us really busy. And we've been sitting on some other interesting stuff that we are going to share with you in this episode.
Now I'm sad Crypticon's over, and I'm just thinking about next year.
I am sad, but in the next couple of weeks, we are going to drop a Crypticon recap episode. We have some pretty interesting guests that we had chat with us, and that will be coming very soon. It's going to be the next episode. But yeah, gearing up for Crypticon, we chatted with a local actor named Jason Brooks and filmmaker named Jeremy Rudd about a movie called Diced that they're hoping to have released by Halloween. It's going to be a good slasher flick. That was part of our Crypticon preview. We also chatted with Kelly Maroney, who is a horror icon from Night of the Comet and Chopping Mall.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
She's even had some time in soap opera.
Yeah.
And wasn't she on an episode of True Blood as well? She has
popped
a
up on there.
long little resume.
She's been in a lot of stuff, and like we got to hang with her a little bit at Crypticon, and she was fucking cool.
Yeah.
Then third Crypticon preview, we talked with Matthew Patrick Davis, and we chatted about him portraying the mother in the film Barbarian, the acclaimed film Barbarian from last year. You know, the creepy, feral, naked mutant lady that was running around in the tunnels underneath the neighborhood. It wasn't a lady. That was Matthew Patrick Davis.
Yeah.
He played a scary monster, but actually was the monster of the year on our friends over at Horror Addicts. They have a yearly horror show called The Oscars.
And they were also at Crypticon.
They were there too. We ran into them. But Matthew Patrick Davis's mother won the Best Monster of the Year for last year, which is super cool. It's crazy to believe that this creepy, scary monster lady portrayed by one of the nicest people we ever met.
Yeah. Yeah, he was super nice.
And fucking funny. He's a funny dude.
Yeah, and very tall. I mean, we knew he was tall anyway, but when you meet him in person and he stands up in front of you, like, damn. He's
tall ass motherfucker.
6'8".
Yeah. We'll talk more about all those guys.
Yeah, you'll hear about it.
So yeah, we've been busy and immersed in the whole Crypticon stuff. We've been up to other stuff too. We did the Olympic Collectible Expo, which is like a mini con in a mall. And we kind of promoted the show a bit. Crypto Zoo actually brought a bunch of stuff to sell. Trying to unload the Funko Pops.
Yeah. I had a few other things too, but 80% Funko Pops.
Yeah. But it was cool. We got to do that. You know, hand out stickers and stuff and meet people and run into old friends like Steve Millage and
Pimp.
We saw our old wrestling buddy. Speaking of wrestling, we talked to a wrestler for later in this episode.
Yep.
But Randy the Pimp Taylor is an indie wrestler from the Northwest that did it for like fucking 100 years or something. But he's also a super nerd and sells toys and shit. I scored some good shit off him. Scored a bunch of vintage Star Wars stuff and I'm super hyped about still. But the highlight of Olympic Collectible Expo was an interview with Melanie Kohn, who she voiced Lucy on the Peanuts animated specials throughout the 70s. And she's also an extra on The Godfather, which was cool, which I didn't know. But yeah, she voiced Lucy, and you know, it's kind of a little bit outside of the horror realm that we usually lean on, but the fucking Peanuts cartoons are pop culture iconic shit that we grew up on.
Yeah, who didn't read a Peanuts comic strip, or who didn't watch the Christmas special, or the Great Pumpkin, or any Charlie Brown at all?
Pumpkin's one of my Halloween staples.
Yeah.
So yeah, we talked to Melanie Kohn, who was the voice of Lucy in the 70s.
She was super nice.
She was cool.
She was right next to my table, and so we just had small talk, throughout the morning until it got busy. And yeah, she was really cool. And she had an event going on the next day, and we chatted about that and just, conventions and crowds in general, and it was cool.
It was cool. So we had a quick chat with her about her career and how she got in the gig and her connections with apparently she took over the role from her sister, which is cool. But let's run that little chat real quick, and then we'll come back and tell you a couple more things we've been up to and what's been going on, and then we'll meet our other guests for later. So meet Melanie Kohn, enjoy, and then go back and watch all the Peanut specials.
Hey, this is Butch Patrick, and you're listening to the Steven Crypto Show.
Hey, we are at the Olympic Collectible Expo. I am hanging out with a animation kind of legend. We're going to call her a legend. We have Melanie Kohn, who voiced Lucy Van Pelt and from the Peanuts cartoons, which were released in the 70s, I believe 74 through 7.
Yes.
Which, well, thank you again, actually, for hanging out and chatting.
Yes, my pleasure.
Let's just jump right in and talk about Peanuts. What episodes were you in?
So the first one was it's the Easter Beagle Charlie Brown, and then Be My Valentine Charlie Brown. Oh, sorry, it's been a long day. My brain is not working very well. You're
I just had my little lapse there, too. Like, what episodes?
Yeah, right. I don't feel so bad. It's a mystery Charlie Brown. You're a good sport, Charlie Brown. And then the full-length feature film, Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown, in 1977, which concluded my 3-year run, and at which time I retired.
How did you get into the gig? Were you always doing voice stuff?
No.
Or no?
No, this was not specific to voice. My father signed me up in a casting agency when I was about 5, and the first job that I was called out on was The Godfather, the first Godfather, and I was an extra when I was 7, and then I auditioned for Lucy and Sally when my sister retired from voicing Lucy. She voiced Lucy from 1972 to 1974, and she retired at 12 years old in 1974. So they had me go into audition for Lucy and Sally. Sally is Charlie Brown's younger sister, and my voice was too deep for that part, and it was a little too high for Lucy, but they let me work into that. But that was I guess I could say random that it was voice work. It was just through the Screen Actors Guild.
Okay. So you were a young... so you had grown up basically around the Peanut stuff with your sister doing the Lucy voice before you. Were you a fan of it, and then you were able to kind of jump in and do a character?
No, I don't think that I was paying attention really when I was watching the shows that my sister had done, because I had no idea that I was going to be called to audition for it. So I kind of went in with my own voice. I think our voices have a similar sound quality to them, but I also don't know that they might have liked that, but I don't think that in the whole run of all the characters that have always been voiced by kids, I don't think that they've actually looked for that, because some of the voices are really unique and they just don't sound like each other.
Yeah, so you basically use your voice
Yes.
for Lucy.
Yes.
That's I'd never known that all the voices are done by kids.
Yes.
That's
Still are.
interesting. So was Lucy your favorite character when you got the gig?
I think Snoopy was.
Everybody loves Snoopy.
I think Snoopy. I think he's everybody's favorite character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody loves Snoopy and kind of felt bad for Charlie.
Yeah.
Poor Charlie always got picked on, and especially by Lucy.
Yes.
You've been doing these conventions for a few years now?
Couple years.
Couple years. What do you look for when you do these shows? Like, what do these shows mean to you?
Well, when I first started, this kind of fell into my lap, and I really had no idea what it was about. And I think I'm learning with every event and show that I do. I'm learning more and more that it's big. It's like Peanuts is iconic. A lot of people come up to the table really emotional because of what Peanuts has meant to them in their life. And, I really had no idea. And I say that in all honesty, I had no idea until I started doing these shows.
Have you had any moments that have stood out to you meeting fans?
I think that I've met some fans that, they start crying. And I know that there's something that goes really, really deep, because I think that it's a memory. They have that memory of their childhood, and then it's just so nostalgic. And there's probably other things that come up. I think that Peanuts must remind them of other things from their childhood that they feel really have some deep connection to.
Right. I know in the cartoons that I've seen, there's a lot of things that you kind of relate as a kid. You remember being out waiting for that first snowfall, or the playing baseball and not being very good at it with all the other kids and stuff
Right.
like that. So it kind of, it just touches that part of childhood. That nostalgic thing
Yeah.
is like huge. That's why I think these shows do so well, because of the nostalgia.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Had you had a chance to meet Charles Schultz back in the day?
No. Charles Schultz was not hands-on in the studio. He was busy drawing, so I didn't meet him, and nor did Duncan Watson, who voiced Charlie Brown in the same era, and we've been doing some shows together. He didn't meet Charles Schultz either. My sister did meet him, but that was at a birthday party at his skating rink in Santa Rosa. So that was like not even... I don't even know that it was related to the Peanut, her being a voice of a character. I think it was just that she was fortunate enough to meet him at his skating rink.
Right. Did you kind of keep connected with some of your castmates? Like you mentioned, you've done shows with some. Have you stayed connected over the years, or was it kind of like a reunion?
No, because we didn't record together. We might have recorded once together, but we didn't. They had us go in separately. We would see each other in passing. One would go in, one would be coming out, and another would be going in. So I haven't. I obviously have known my sister my whole life. There have been a couple of one or two others that I've met along the way, or kind of sort of knew from childhood. But I had met Duncan when I was a kid. And outside of the studio, we'd run into each other, and I saw him literally a couple of times, when I was 12 and he was 13. But I remembered him, so I got in touch with him, and it's been a lot of fun doing shows together.
Yeah. So have the shows given you opportunities to meet anybody that you personally looked up to or were a fan of?
Yeah. Yes, they have, and I don't want to mention who, because I don't want to leave anybody out, but I have met a few people, and I kind of have realized that nobody really feels that comfortable with having a fangirl or a fanboy come up to them, because I was told, tone it down a little bit.
Right. Have meeting any of the fans made you emotional, seeing them get?
Yeah.
That's got to be the hard
I
part.
definitely play off what they're going through. If they start crying, I feel like I'm gonna cry. If they get excited, then I feel excited, and I definitely play off what's going on with them.
Yeah. And when we were sitting here before we started doing this, a fan came up and gave you adorable little picture that she drew for you.
Yeah.
One of the artists here.
Yeah.
What are some of the cool things that you've gotten from fans?
I get a lot of fan art. This one was done in anime style, which is really cool. And I get little pins and buttons. I even got a tattoo one time. I got a cover-up tattoo.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I got a big Lucy on my arm.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, I thank you for taking a few minutes. I know it's about time to start packing up.
Yeah.
Where can people follow you on social media?
Oh, okay. So if you put in @ Melanie, Melanie J. Kohn, which is Kohn, all together, my Facebook page should come up, and I do list all of my events on my business page. I'm on Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff too, but I'm not as good about keeping up on that stuff. So yes, I know I need to really up my game with all this social media, but for right now, I'm consistent with my Facebook.
Okay. So if a fan is not going to be able to meet you at a convention, can they get an autograph, mail order or something?
Okay, so yes, I do through the mail. I accept Venmo and Cash App, and I do cover postage. So yes.
So they can just reach out, send you a message on Facebook,
Yes.
and say, I'd like an autograph. And
Yes, and I have a good amount to choose from, 10 different 8x10s.
yeah, you got a nice variety on the table out here. I like it.
Thank you.
Any message to fans or?
Oh, I just appreciate everybody. I will always be humbled by this, forever, because there's, I just appreciate people expressing to me what Peanuts has meant to them in their lives. And, I appreciate that they appreciate me, even though, like, I feel, this, to me, in my perspective, it's like, I did this so long ago, but I am starting to understand now that the appreciation, and I'm starting to accept it more, that, when people say they appreciate it, I realize now that my voice is kind of burned into the history of Peanuts, and so I'm definitely more accepting now. I listen to people, and I let them tell me what it's meant to them, and it just makes me feel really good. I'm very, very, truly grateful for all the fans out there.
Well, we're grateful for you too. Thank you for your contribution to such an iconic, timeless franchise.
Thank you.
And appreciate you for popping in on Steven Crypto Show, and it was great meeting you.
You too.
Greetings, it is I, Lilith Von Bloodworth from Mondo Creepy. You're listening to the Steve and Crypto Show.
Alrighty, we are back.
And if you're not a blockhead, you've been listening to this whole episode, and hopefully you've been enjoying what you've heard. If so, don't forget to review us. I know we mentioned it earlier, but don't forget, whatever streaming app you're on right now, just give us that little 5-star review. We would greatly appreciate it.
Well, honestly, if they're listening to us regularly and they're like us, they probably are blockheads.
All right, then.
Fucking blockheads, too.
Give us a review, you blockhead.
And
you like that?
I will embrace being a blockhead. So, yeah, Olympic Collectible Expo. We'll definitely be back for the next edition of that, which usually is in the fall. Like, I don't know if they have a date yet or anything, but I'm sure we'll be guests at that one. So,
yeah,
if you're in the Northwest and Washington State, come meet us at that and any other shows we end up popping up on.
Yeah, it's a fun little event. I mean, this one actually had more traffic than the last couple, in my opinion. It seemed like once it got going, it kind of was steady for a while. Like most cons, if you're working at a con, or if you've ever done that, that it kind of goes in waves. Might start out quiet, then you get a rush, and then it dies down a little bit, and then there's that afternoon, like after like noon or 1 o'clock, sometimes it slows down a little bit, and then maybe by 3 or 4 picks up again. This one seemed like it was a little quiet in the morning, and then once it was like noon or so, it just was steady from there on.
It's just like the mall. Like, people are not getting up. The only people up for the mall when it first opens is like old people that go there to exercise.
Yeah.
But like, come, teenagers and stuff wake up at fucking noon. Then they just pour into the mall and buy all the shit with their parents' cards. So the week after the Olympic Collectible Expo was actually Free Comic Book Day, which not much to mention. I don't even know why I brought it up, but
well, you went out and snagged a couple things.
I went out, and there was quite a few horror comics, which if you are following me on TikTok, I put a little video up of some of the stuff I picked up. So I guess that was an opportunity to just plug my TikTok. I suck at TikTok, but I still post on there because, honestly, I take advantage of every fucking free opportunity to promote Steven Crypto Show.
Yeah.
So follow me on TikTok, The Steve Strout, and you'll see some of the comics I got and a lot of other stuff. Just go through and like everything I put on there and keep sharing it, too. What else happened? The Rondo winners.
Yeah.
Those were announced. And, guess what? It was not us. But, like I said, it wasn't us. We didn't win.
We're happy to be nominated, though, for the second time. I mean,
definitely
it's pretty cool for a
happy and honored
couple little podcast fishies.
And personally, there's no one I would rather have lost the Best Podcast Award to than Mick Garris and Joe Russo from Postmortem. That's personally my favorite podcast. I like them more than us. Sorry.
I mean, they have great content, and we have content.
We have content. They have great content. We have content. So yeah,
we downplay ourselves here.
That's about what we've been up to. And like I said, we do have another chat that we had with a wrestler who's got some important events coming up in his world. But since we're gonna talk to a wrestler, let's do a quick trivia.
Yeah.
We didn't do trivia last week, did we?
I don't believe so.
I think we did.
I'm
last
not
couple
sure.
Weeks.
I feel like we've been doing it every week, but maybe we didn't.
Honestly, it's like answer any of the trivia questions, and you win.
Just give us the answer to a question.
You win any question. Yes.
Yeah.
Am I human? Yes.
We'll send you a sticker pack.
Stickers. So we're trying to come up with a good trivia question before, and went with kind of keep it sort of horror themed. We're going to talk about The Undertaker.
Yeah, my favorite wrestler of all time. And we share a birthday.
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I was in 5th grade,
And you found out.
somehow it came up or my birthday was brought up or whatever, and this kid was like, you have the same birthday as The Undertaker.
Did you look it up, though?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
this for real? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So, The Undertaker debuted, which, before we get to the question, his debut, I was actually at. I think I just told you that for the first time. I was actually at, it was a Survivor Series in Hartford, Connecticut.
I am hearing this for the first time now.
I just told him 15 minutes ago. Don't let him fool you.
Wow.
Don't lie to them. We're trying to move up to the second favorite podcast. Now we're going to slip down to the fourth. Just kidding. Yeah, I wasn't even going to tell you guys this story, to be honest, but he urged me to. So, I was at The Undertaker's debut, and this leads to the trivia question.
It's appropriate.
Who was The Undertaker's manager for his debut match?
Should we give him a clue?
No.
Okay.
Look it up. Go on the Peacock. Did I tell you? I think I told you earlier about the tweet that Peacock put up.
Yeah.
'Cause HBO Max dropped the HBO part, and now they're just Max. And like Peacock tweeted something along the lines of like, "Don't worry, we're not going to drop the first half of our name," or some shit like that. That would be funny though. Like, what channel is WWE on? The Cock. Like,
Yeah. On the Cock app.
yeah, WWE's on Cock. So yeah, who was Undertaker's manager? So let one of us know. He's CryptoZoo88. I am the Steve Strout on Instagram and Twitter. Hit either one of us up with the answer, and if you're right, we'll send you some stickers and save your name and maybe give you a better prize. If you're wrong and you're really nice, we'll probably still send you some stickers.
Speaking of Undertaker, have you ever seen those videos? I can't think of what app they're on. Kevin Hart hosts it. I think it's called Cold as Balls.
Oh, yeah.
Where he
Yep.
interviews people and they sit in like the ice bath or
Yep.
whatever, and he talked to Undertaker.
Yeah.
And Kevin Hart has his two little assistants, and they're like the lights go out, and all of a sudden one of them comes out with like a towel over his head or whatever, and he's walking all slow to the music, and Kevin's like, "What are you doing, man? Like, get the fuck out of here!"
That's funny.
Acting the fool.
Did you ever see the, trying to remember which movie it was. Might have been Suburban Commando, when the Undertaker was like some alien bounty hunter or something.
What?
And he-
Really? I
with
watched
Hulk
that movie
Hogan.
as a kid, but I
And-
didn't know Undertaker was
I
in
don't
there.
know- I don't know if it was that one. I think it was. And like he was at the end, like later in the movie, and he had like a really high pitched voice.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to watch that movie again now at the age I am now, but I kind of want to see that.
It probably doesn't, hold up very well.
Yeah.
But
Can't imagine it does.
yeah. Somebody listen. Let me know if that was the right one. Was it Suburban Commando when the Undertaker had like the really high voice?
I'll just have to look for the YouTube clip of
Probably
that.
on there. Yeah.
I'm sure I could find it. I don't really want to watch a whole movie with Hulk Hogan in it.
Like it's hard. Yeah.
The Gremlins clip is enough. Gremlins 2 when he's in the theater, that's enough.
It's crazy how like awesome the Hulkster was when we were young.
Yeah.
But you look at him now and it's like, damn, that motherfucker's corny.
Yeah.
Like,
I honestly, some of you wrestling fans might want to shoot me for this. I've never really been a big fan of Hulk Hogan, even when I was a kid. I kind of liked him in NWO, and that's just because I was a big NWO fan.
they were just cool that like the big hero like flipped the switch.
Yeah,
Became a
like
big head.
the American hero all of a sudden is Hollywood Hulk Hogan,
Bad
and
guy
he's
number one.
a
Yeah.
bad dude. But like the whole like them trying to hit him and barely doing anything, and then he starts shaking his finger at him and like acting like he's gonna have a stroke or whatever. I'm not really a fan of it. I hope none of you guys listening think I'm a dick or anything for saying that, but that's just it hasn't.
Let me
It's
tell you
never been my
something
thing.
about the power of Hulkamania.
I know I'm not a believer. I'm sorry.
I wasn't. He wasn't always my favorite either. But I've been to, when I was younger, we went to a lot of WWF at the time events, and I've also been through my whole life to a lot of concerts, other wrestling events, loud situations. But I've never heard a fucking audience louder than when fucking Hulk Hogan's music hit. In his prime and his heyday. That motherfucker hit those first three fucking chords from motherfucking buildings shook, dude. Fucking just deafening.
He's coming out with the little boa
like you
thing
feel
around
that
his neck with
motherfucking
the
shit,
shades
and
on.
you get caught up in it, and you're like, I don't even like you. You're the fucking man.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
I mean, I was there for WrestleMania 19 when he fought Vince McMahon.
That didn't matter then. That wasn't prime Hulk Hogan.
No, that was 2003.
That wasn't prime Hulk. Boy, was that at the Seattle WrestleMania?
Yeah, that was Safeco Field.
That was when Jericho and HBK.
Yeah.
Remember that feud?
Yes, it was. That was a
Jericho
good
put
match.
his face
to
through
be
the
there.
fucking monitor and fucked him up. That was awesome.
Yeah. And that was the same night where Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle went at it, and Brock got up on the turnbuckle and he did a flip.
Oh, he did the moonsault and
he
landed
did the
on his
moonsault. Yeah, landed on his neck or whatever. Yeah. And I mean, there was a 30-minute pause in the match just to make sure that he was okay and they could continue.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't 30 minutes, but in the
like
moment
forever.
It felt like a while. Yeah.
But yeah, man, that fucking Hulk Hogan pop was crazy.
Yeah.
Big noise. Anywho, obviously we're wrestling fans.
Yeah.
We don't watch as much as we used to, but we always mention we gotta get some wrestling content on here. It kind of goes hand in hand with horror, and it's part of pop culture.
Agreed. Yeah, it's not something I keep up with as much as I'd like to these days, but it's been a part of my life since I was probably 7 years old or so.
Yeah.
Something like that,
So,
7 or 8.
Crypto, he's a fan of wrestling. He's also a fan and performer of underground hip-hop music. And in this chat, we chatted with a performer, a wrestler, who kind of bridges those two worlds, brings
That's
those
right.
worlds together. And introduce him.
Happy to have our first wrestler on the show be none other than the face collector, Jared Savage. So we'll get into it in the conversation, but he actually started up here in the Northwest.
He's an indie guy that started here, and he moved on to bigger and better things in the Midwest.
Yep. And he and I, we ended up chatting back and forth at one point, and we were kind of saying the same thing to each other. I feel like I've seen you or met you at a show, like a wrestling event or a concert. Something. And we maybe crossed paths at one point and just didn't really get to sit down and chat back then. But I mean, Steve and I have been to a lot of independent wrestling events around here and out in
Some
Bremerton.
good, some bad.
Some good, some bad, for sure.
Some bad. Some
but
bad.
I swear,
some okay.
I swear we saw him at one point in the ring.
I'm
sure we did. Probably, I mean, definitely not with the Zooligan mask. Definitely not with the forever face on. He was rocking something else at the time. Had a different gimmick, but now he is the face collector. And if you're not listening to this episode, you better be careful and sleep with one eye open.
Tell people listening what exactly is a Zooligan.
So, there's a hip-hop group by the name of Ala Zul Ilu, and their fans are known as Zooligans. They are a trio that wears masks that are resembling Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's honestly, it's pulled me back into the underground, dark hip-hop scene that I used to follow when I was younger.
For example...
they're kind of like Twisted, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Theatrical.
Yeah.
They're very funny.
Yeah.
A lot of horror references in their music. I'm really hoping that maybe one day down the road we might be able to chat with them, and I think a lot of our crowd might dig them just because like they're horror fans like us.
Even just see what they do, because I don't listen to a ton of hip hop, but you've shown me some of their stuff, and I'm intrigued just because their videos.
Oh,
their
yeah.
videos are like mini horror movies.
Yep.
And it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean they have a couple albums that are basically influenced by Evil Dead, which is what pulled me in for sure. Like it solidified me as a Zooligan. I mean, I was familiar with them before the Necronomicon 2 came out, but once I heard that one, I was in for sure as a big Evil Dead fan. So, yeah, they're honestly like bringing back that underground scene that, I mean, it's always been around, but like they're at the forefront of it. And Jared Savage is a close friend of theirs, obviously is influenced by, wearing one of their masks when in the ring. So,
and I'm all for hearing about it, especially with the horror themes.
Yeah.
It works for me. So,
yeah.
Fucking let's meet Jared Savage. Let's get to it.
All right.
Hi, this is Matthew Patrick Davis. I play the Mother in Barbarian, and you're listening to the Steven Crypto Show. Baby.
Hello, we are here on the Steve and Crypto Show, and we are finally getting into some of that wrestling talk that we've been telling you guys we were going to get into. We've really been hoping, we're both wrestling fans, and we've been hoping we could get to that point in the show where we could bring someone on. And I think we have the perfect gentleman just for that. We have the one and only face collector, Jared Savage.
That's me.
What's up,
Hello.
man? How you doing?
I mean, I'm doing all right. Life's pretty good right now.
It's nice to talk to you, man. It's been a little while. I was fortunate to see your farewell show out here. For those listening, Jared started out this way in the Northwest, or at least when I met him. And we actually, I think we may or may not have crossed paths at some shows like in Bremerton, some independent wrestling events, and just didn't really get to chat. But down the road, we were like, yeah, I think I met you, or I think I might have bumped into you, or, briefly. But it's been nice to chat with you off and on, and finally get to see you in the ring before you took off and headed over to new federations. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your time up here in the Northwest before you moved out to Indiana?
Well, I mean, that's where I started out. I started wrestling. Well, okay, I started training, and oh man, I was 14 at the time. So
Wow.
I want to say that was 2009. Didn't make my debut until 2012. I started training, and it's going to sound real shitty, but I don't care. I started training in my backyard because we didn't have a ring. We built a backyard ring base that my trainer had plans for from the internet. And my grandparents were really cool. They were like, yeah, we'll supply the money and make this happen. I learned the basics for like the longest time. That's what I knew. That's really all we went over for a long time because we didn't have ropes, didn't have turnbuckles. I just had somewhere to bump. But I think that was a hell of a way to learn. And I made my debut 2012 at a training show in Tacoma. Actually, something like more near Puyallup, but nonetheless, it was in like oh God, like a big maxi space, like one of those fucking storage rental fucking things. It was just a giant garage that had a ring in it.
What promotion was that?
To be honest, like I'll shoot here and say that the guy who was running that promotion got caught up, so I'm not gonna give him, any I'm not gonna give him any publicity here.
Yeah.
And if he happens to hear this, fuck you, motherfucker. But nonetheless,
fair enough.
But did some training shows for the guy, and then my trainer started his company probably about 6 months later. And yeah, I've been wrestling for shit, it's gonna be 11 years this year. It's
That's
crazy to
great.
think.
Yeah.
Who trained you?
JD Mason.
Oh, okay. I know JD. Okay. Yeah. So he's the guy that's still running was it NWP?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. He's still running
Okay.
NWP.
I know him through the pimp.
I would say, yeah, we let him rent the ring a few times, for his company. I can't for some reason. Oh, PWF, that's what it was.
Yep. Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
Pimp's a good dude. He's good.
he
Been
was
around a
always cool
long
to me.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I never got to work any of his shows or nothing. He was always cool to me.
Yeah.
I got nothing but respect for him. Like one of my last run-ins with him was, I want to say it was last year's Puyallup Fair. I went on like one of the last days that it was like even going. Went up there and they had their PWF set up, and he was there. So talked to him and everything. It
Right.
was a
Right.
nice little chat. But
That's cool.
I was glad that I got to do that before I left because I knew I was leaving only like a month or so later. So it was
Right.
nice to catch up with him before I dipped out.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually just ran into him last month at the Silverdale Mall for a little convention that was going on out there, the OCE convention.
Was he doing like? Was he doing a show there, or was he just there like promoting his shit?
Vending. He was he's a big nerd, man. He always has a booth at these shows selling like comics and toys and all kinds of shit. He's
Oh, see, I didn't realize that.
yeah,
Okay,
man.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
Pimp's a nerd.
Oh yeah.
I gotta say real quick, just to throw out there, the one thing that sucks about moving. Okay, I love the fact I moved. I miss Washington, but I don't. But the one thing that I really miss that I don't have here, like we have toy spots, retro game spots, though we barely have. I mean, we have a couple, but they're like chain ones, and
Right.
they're just dog shit awful. That
Yeah.
is the one thing that Washington has that trumps over all of this stuff. Like, I mean, you go to Seattle and there's like 1,000 fucking retro game stores up
So
there.
many.
If you go in
So
between Tacoma and Seattle, you can just find plenty of them. Like, I miss that.
You know what
That
I
is like the nerd in me. It, oh man, it
you know what I
hurts.
think it is because this whole area is kind of over the last however many years, 30 years, it's like the main industry has been like nerdy shit like Microsoft and like Amazon and stuff, like people building these like tech companies, and it's a bunch of nerds running it.
Right.
So like they bring in all that money here, and why not open a nerd shop for these rich nerds and the poor nerds like myself? But
Well, like I said, we do have some stuff here. Like
yeah,
we have a toy shop here, which is cool because I didn't have a toy shop up there. I didn't have one since there was one in Port Orchard that was there for a long time.
yeah,
I can't think of the name of it at the
it
moment,
was
but they
it
went
was
in there.
down by the Albertsons.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Back in
back in
time, that
time.
was what it was called.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
See, I would go there a lot, man, especially during pandemic. I'd go there like almost every day. I
that
had
was
nothing
a
going on.
that was a good shop. Like I was good buddies with Ben, the owner, and he
Yeah,
kind
he was real cool to me. To tell you,
he sadly
just throw out there.
when his wife passed, he kind of walked away from it, and
Well, sadly, I met him right after. But the
yeah,
one cool thing that he did, and I don't know. Chances are he's probably never going to hear this, but I hope one day he does somehow. He did something really cool because I'd go in there, all the time, and my kid would go in there too. And it was like right after my grandparents died and all that. He, I think related, and he was just asked my kids like, "Hey, do you want some stuff?" And she was like, "Yeah." And he gave her like that was like $200 worth of Barbie shit. I mean,
Oh
he gave
wow.
her like a giant ass plane play set, like all this stuff. And I mean, maybe it's because he had it sitting there, but I
yeah.
think he did it, because he knew our situation, and that was real cool.
That's
So
very cool.
mad
Ben
love to that dude for that.
Ben he was a real dude. He was a good fucking dude. He had a big heart, and I need to track him down. I miss just chatting with that dude about stuff. But yeah, he did cool stuff.
Right. I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut it off. I just
No, you
wanted,
good.
because I know we'll probably segue into a different subject.
Yep.
Before we do, I want to give mad props. There is a place out in Silverdale. If anyone goes there or has not been there, you need to fucking go to this place. It's called Big Red's Retro Games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got real tight with the people there. Dude named Adam Dave. He's real fucking cool. He's a big wrestling fan. He went out to shows of mine. There's a chick there named Claire. She took over the place with him. That stores went through a lot. The original owner passed away, and they took it over. But they have really fought and clawed to get that place to what it is now. And anybody listening in that area should definitely check them out. They're really good people. They got good pricing, and they got a really good selection of shit.
They got
like I still keep up with the page, because if I see something I want that bad, I will pay for it and have it shipped out. I do not care.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They have a lot of, like you say, good prices and a lot of shit packed into that little shop. Like a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if
Great
you
place.
don't leave with something, you probably just don't like video games.
No, that's real. Yeah.
So we're talking about the whole convention thing briefly with seeing Pimp there. And it made me think, as you mentioned, JD, I was working at a convention out at the Auburn Mall in December, and he came in and he was looking around and he was like, Jared would like your hat. And I thought for 2 seconds, and because I'm wearing a Zool hat, and I was like, oh, there's the connection. That's how I know you. That's
funny.
where I recognize your
feel like
face
he
from.
told me that too. I'm
Yeah.
positive that he told me that.
Yeah.
That's
It was
awesome.
funny. Yeah. Yep. Small world, man.
It's nice to hear the people even talking about me still, like, since I left. That makes me happy.
Dude, you're making an impact out there. I'm seeing videos, I'm seeing clips from you on the socials all the time. You're constantly posting and putting your stuff out there for people to check out. Yeah, I just saw your video that Velocity Productions made. That looked very good.
Man,
Very
what a
well
great
shot.
time I had. That was awesome filming. That was one of the best experiences I've had so far doing promos or anything. And that
was a good
turned out
promo.
so good.
Yeah, that's a very fitting promo for you. That was
Like,
cool.
we went to an abandoned hotel. It was literally right by my buddy's house. He does the production work for Elite Pro Wrestling. And I just hit him up. I was like, hey, man, I want to get something done. Because, I got the show on the 27th, and he was super cool. And I mean, that was just every bit of it was fucking awesome. I explored the place anyway because I like that kind of shit. And it had the perfect vibe, man. It's creepy. There were some rooms there, man, that were a little rough to look at. I ain't gonna lie. People be spray painting some fucked up shit. But then there was some funny shit, But overall, it was badass. I really enjoyed doing that promo there, and I just enjoyed the whole location in general.
And this is posted on your Facebook page?
Yeah, it's on my Facebook.
On the
it's
Jared
on
Savage
TikTok.
page. Okay.
It's
I'm
on
after-
all my pages. The only thing it's not on right now is Instagram, because for some fucking reason I cannot get it to. You guys have no clue. I have struggled today. I sat there for, I think, at least those 2 hours, because I would try to upload it, it'd get stuck. I would turn my airplane mode on, do all this different shit to try to push it through. And the one time it did go through, the video was kind of fucked up, so I deleted it. But I wish I didn't now, because I can't get it that way.
You got it on TikTok though?
Yeah, I got on TikTok.
You might be able to share it straight from TikTok to Instagram as a reel.
If it'll let me do that, oh man, that would make it so much.
That'll probably work, because
that'd be a lifesaver.
When I put up TikToks, I just share those videos to Instagram, and they just post as reels, and you'll have to add new description and stuff to it, but that's.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But still, that's fine with me, because I just want to get that thing on there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm wondering if Instagram's flagging you because of the blood or something. I mean, that's just what made it tasteful.
I don't think it was the blood or any of that because I mean they got so much deathmatch shit on there and
It's
all that.
probably just a tough connection.
Yeah, either that or I mean, the file it's a pretty big file and it said it was like in 4K. I tried using other versions, but here we are. At least I've got it uploaded some other places and
Yeah.
people are seeing it. Admittedly, I think Facebook's algorithm is kind of holding it down a little,
Yep.
but I'm trying to get that thing out there because I'm really proud of this promo.
Well, we'll post it in our Facebook group for the show, for the podcast, and also feel free to post any of your events that you have in there as well. Anything you got upcoming.
Okay, if you guys don't
Yeah.
mind, then yeah, I'm
No,
probably
please
post a lot.
do.
That's
Please
what it's
do.
there for, man. Go for it. Yeah. Yeah. So, I brought up that promotional video because it, as you were saying, it's all about your match that you have coming up May 27th, which is your debut with World's Finest Wrestling, correct?
Yes, yes, it is.
Yeah, and it's going to be a fatal four-way between Deonta Davis, Dax Knight, Leon Lux, and yourself. That should be a really fun time.
That is what it is right now. I will say, because I mean, I'm pretty sure this is going to come out after. I'm hearing some things about one of the guys in the match, having some health stuff going on. So there might be a chance there might be someone out of it. I don't know. Card subject to change, that's wrestling.
Always.
However, I'm pretty sure even if it goes from being the 4-way, it'll probably go to a 3-way or something. And I mean, hey, the promo's already out there. I'm really looking forward to it either way. I'm hoping that all three competitors are in there with me because I've went and watched footage on all three guys. They're both, I mean, I'm sorry, not both. They're all three, though, really fucking talented. Every one of them. And they're all talented in different ways. Like Dax Knight, he can wrestle. I mean, he could really fucking wrestle. But he looks like he does funny shit too, comedic stuff. So that really that brings something to the table. And then Deontay Davis, he's over there, dancing and shit. So he's real energetic, and I love the vibe that he puts out there. Leon Luck, that dude, I was really surprised because I wasn't sure what to think. But then I saw him work, and he's flying around. I mean, he's doing some cool shit. And I think with me in there being the monster, you're gonna have a really good match. I mean, I will say sometimes these matches with multiple people can be clusterfucks, and if you got people in there who don't really know what they're doing, it can be a shit show. But I can say right now, you've got 4 guys who bring something unique to the table. I think we're really going to prepare the house down with this. I am excited as hell.
Yep. That's good. I think that's a good thing, a good attitude to go into it, because working with the guys that are with different styles like that, whether you win or lose, you're going to learn something from it. And that's one thing that you always want to be doing is learning.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's the biggest thing. If I want to learn from anyone that I step in that ring with, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, but I will say it like it is.
Yep.
There was a point there where, especially in Washington, shit kind of got stagnant for me. Yep. Wasn't really happy. Like, just doing the same shit over and over, working the same place, not getting anywhere,
right.
Politics, stupid shit, whatever.
Didn't you take a break for a short while at one point, if I remember?
I did, yeah. I took a break there for about 2 years at one point, and then I had to take another break when I moved, when I first got here. I'll say, like, when I left, even this, just moving, I hate admitting, but I wasn't exactly the happiest there. Like, I was just kind of...
It was time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because, I mean, the truth is, and this is where I kind of warned you guys earlier, I might shoot a little bit. I literally was stuck in the same fucking place because my trainer's got a shitty rep. And even though I love the guy to death and I know his capabilities and that he can work and I know him, I know that he, like I said, he's got a shitty rep outside the promotion. Whether, he did that to himself or whether, other people make up shit or whatever, I'll let people decide what they want, but at the end of the day, any of his students, there's a thing I hate admitting, but it was called JD stigma, is what we kind of referred to it as. And the JD stigma, I think, held me back from a lot of promotions up there. I mean, there is a decent amount of promotions popping up there.
Like
And
really
there
good
is some
ones too. Yeah.
yeah, and there's some really good talent up there. But if you guys ever notice, if you take a look, you will notice that a lot of NWP guys aren't working a lot of other places. Maybe a couple of them, but not a lot of them.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. And it sucks. And I will be
Yeah.
the first to sit here and say it because I had to live it. And I fucking hated every minute of it, especially because I've always had this desire and drive to want to be more. But because I couldn't be more there, it kind of just made me not want to really put that effort in. Now that
Right.
I'm here, oh my God, the fire is back. I'm
Good.
ready. Like just that first night of walking into EPW, that wasn't even a for sure thing. That was a, maybe you'll get to work here because my shoot job, I sell cell phones at Walmart. Got a buddy named John. He knows a guy who goes by the name of Michael Madrox. He used to work there, and he's in wrestling. He has a business, so he's like, "Hey, hit this guy up." Told him what was up. He was like, "Hey, do you want to come with us, me and my buddy Dickie, out to EPW?" I was like, "Sure." They said we can get you a tryout match. I got my tryout match. Admittedly, I got hurt in the match, which is an accident. Shit happens. But I still impressed everyone there somehow. And then somebody had called out. She wasn't going to be able to be there because she was sick. So I got to take her spot. And here we are now. Now I'm the fucking.
And now you're the fucking champ.
Exactly, right? It's crazy, man. And now I've got all these other opportunities.
Just took that chance and ran with it. That's good.
Yeah. Like before I get too far into EPW, I want to go back to World's Finest Wrestling real quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
I admit now this is gonna be my first time there, debuting there, but I've heard a lot of good things. The promoter seems like a really good dude. One of my buddies from up there, Stein guy, who's the referee. He knows the promoter and was very highly suggesting me to talk to him. I want to say, shout out to Sign Guy. That dude, like, I don't, when people see referees, they don't really think much of them, and I get it. Because they're a referee, they're there. They're not really wrestling, but they are still part of the show. But they don't, even though they're important, people don't think about it.
We know they're a big part of it.
This dude is so fucking awesome because he knows people from everywhere and he works everywhere. He's one of the handful of referees up that way who's like doing more than just being there. Like he comes out here a lot because I guess this is where he started. So he's been, getting me in contact with a lot of people. He's been in my corner a lot. So thank you very much to Sign Guy. He deserves all the credit for that. But yeah, he was the one who got me in contact. World's Finest Wrestling. I know that they're on IWTV, which if you have a subscription, it's I think $9.99 a month. You can watch. I'm pretty sure the show on there when it happens. I think it'll be after. I don't think they do it live, but regardless, these guys they're a good company. Their roster seems stacked with good talent. I'm really, really excited for this opportunity. Anyway,
that's great, man. Really, I'm happy that things have turned around for you so much going out there, and it doesn't feel like you've been gone from the Northwest for that long, and look how much is happening for you.
I know it's weird, man. Like, I'm very humble. Like, I'm not the type of guy who's like, oh fuck yeah, look at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So every bit of this that's happening right now is just like, holy shit, everything. I'm very, very, very thankful, and I feel very blessed to have all these opportunities right now. Especially, like having the Odyssey of the Elite Championship. That's an awesome opportunity. I mean, I'm 2 shows into this for this company, and they trusted me, with something like that. That's a big deal to me, and I'm not going to let them down.
Yeah. Man, collecting belts, collecting faces. I mean, I was thinking you must have like a warehouse, or you're getting paid pretty well for your job to be able to hold all those faces you've been collecting over these years.
I mean, I've got places to put them somewhere.
Always find find a
The
place for that face.
So what?
the sad truth is I was going to make a joke about like storing them somewhere, but hell, the reality of just life. Half my shit is still in Washington right now.
Oh no.
Right.
Yeah, so I bet I got a few faces up there still somewhere.
Got to come visit and collect them.
What inspired the character, the face collector?
I mean, it all started with Zool for sure. That was the big thing. I mean, my whole character has just changed up so much over the years because I started out with I wore a green Dr. Wagner mask, and I was called the Masked Juggalo because I needed a gimmick for the 2 training shows, and it was just like the last minute thing. And somehow that stuck for a good couple of years. I eventually added on Jared Savage to it. And once I found Zool, I I was already trying to break away from the Masked Juggalo gimmick, but I didn't want to break away from the fact. I mean, even though it has evolved a lot, this whole gimmick in general and was inspired by my love of the underground. It's been a part of my life since I was literally 10 years old. Like my 10th birthday was the first time I heard ICP.
Okay.
Heard them through the backyard wrestling game. And between that and wrestling are the 2 things that mean the most to me. I'm already wrestling. So why not bring the other thing I love, into the world, I'm already in, and combine the 2 things I love the most, which they go hand in hand. ICP and wrestling. A lot of juggalos like wrestling as it is. You got JCW. So it all starts with the underground at first. And then, like I said, I found Zool. I was like, oh, well, this is new. This is something that I see a future in because I felt the first time I heard Zool, I felt the same feeling that I felt when I heard ICP. Like the same magic hit me. And honestly, I never had felt that with anyone else in between there. So I don't know. It all just made sense. It was like perfect timing. I was like, I hit up my boy Bill, and it was like right after I had met them at the gathering and everything. And I was like, hey, would you be cool with me wearing a forever face to the ring? He said, yeah. So I started being the Northwest Hooligan. Still kind of doing the same shit I was before, just rocking the mask out. And I mean, I would say for a long time there, it was still, even with the face, I was still kind of just like I was just a big, monster without looking like a monster. I wasn't really, I was still doing the characteristics. I was beating the shit out of people, throwing them around, using my size, all these things, but I still wasn't like there yet. And 2 years off happened. And somewhere in that 2 years, I was like, man, when I come back, like I need to come back darker. I need to come back as something different, like still be me, but not be the same Jared Savage they saw before. And when I came back, the goal was to wrestle with the Forever Face, but at first I couldn't make it happen right away because I had to try to figure out how to strap up the mask to make it, able to wrestle in. But once I got that figured out, now it's just I'm a monster. I'm like every other, horror movie character you could think of. I'm trying to put my own spin on this, and my buddy Dickie said it yesterday, he said this. I think it was this morning. I don't remember which, but he made a comment of, he's like, I don't think you fully grasped what the gimmick is yet, but I see you making, efforts. And I agree. I don't think I fully have grasped who Jared Savage fully is yet, but I know that I'm a monster. I represent the underground, but I do it in a way that it's not just, oh man, he's a juggalo gimmick. I am different. I take wrestling serious. I also take my love for the underground serious, but wrestling, comes first. And being a monster is what I see the face collector as. I mean, if you look at the promo, I'm sitting there chopping up meat. I'm chopping away at the flyer, cutting away and slapping on the wall each competitor as I rip them away from the flyer, until it's just me. I'm a killer out there. I don't want to be like, the type of killer completely where, I mean, how do I put it? You see a lot of silly shit in wrestling, I want to be something that people take serious. And I admit there's a lot of guys doing gimmicks kind of like mine, especially out here. There's Evil Nate Hewitt. There's Carver Cutter's Alley. There's my buddy who just started wrestling down in Cali, Butch Sawyer. All these guys have similar gimmicks. They don't wear forever faces, but they wear, Leatherface style masks to a degree, and they all are monsters as well. But we all have our own spin on this, and I'm so happy to see that there's a rise up of monsters right now, because I think wrestling has been missing that. I think the last time we really got to see that was with The Fiend, and I mean, if anybody's kept up with The Fiend, that thing was fucking amazing. All of it until the Goldberg shit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the character,
Yeah, honestly.
if you look at how over that character was, you can see that wrestling fans miss monsters. They miss having something to be afraid of. And that's where my gimmick comes in, and all
I
these
think,
other ones.
I think that kind of fits in with just why people love horror too. Like we just want to be scared, and a character like that is exactly what you need. But I get what you're saying. Like you want to develop it so you're respected. You want people to look at you and not just be like, "Oh, that guy's a monster." And he just comes in, throws a couple chops, throws somebody around, and that's it. You want to be looked at as, "Oh, that guy's a good fucking worker." Like I'm not afraid to work. I'm not just gonna get thrown on my ass and have to bump for him. I'm gonna go in and he can work.
Yeah, and it shows you have some experience under your belt.
I will say one thing that kind of sucks is like people see me before I put my gimmick on, and I mean I'll admit the first night that I went at EPW I saw it. Guys kind of they looked at me and they weren't really sure what to think of me before I stepped in the ring. And as soon as that tryout match happened, I switched that, I hit that switch and I was in gimmick. The mask was on, everything. And I saw everyone's reaction, as soon as I let out my first roar, everybody who was there, all the boys, I saw that reaction. They got it right then. They're like, oh shit.
Yep.
And once I'm in there and I'm working, my work speaks for itself. I'm not saying I am the best out here because I'm not. I know I'm not. But I know that I am good at what I do. I know that I can be better and I can learn more. And I absolutely want to. But I can fucking work my ass off. And I'm not out here just to get my shit in. Like, I want to fucking help other guys. I want to help get people over. I'm glad that I'm getting a push right now and shit, but like I really do want to help other people, and because wrestling's give and take, and I want to be able to help people, especially out here, with the little bit of knowledge I have. But I still think I have a lot to learn though too.
And also, like, now you're there without that stigma that you referred to prior. So now it's just like open. It's like open game for you. It's just
Yeah, I can work wherever, anywhere. The only thing is, and it's so shitty, but like, sometimes I sit there and think, I'm like, oh man, is people from up there like gonna get pissy? Like, not people I was cool with, but the people who'd shit on me. Sometimes I wonder if they're gonna, try to start up shit or stir shit up because that's wrestling. I
yeah,
hate saying it, but I
right.
think about that. I'm like, are they gonna try to stir shit up to stop my shine right now just because they try to hold me down up there? But at the same time, I'm fucking putting in the work. I mean, I'm really putting in the work right now. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm busting my fucking ass for every opportunity I'm getting. And I mean, it's paying off. I mean, like I said, you guys, when you see the 27th, I got shit besides that coming up too. I got a lot of things coming up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of the 27th, it's only a few days away. This episode might come out after that event, but I'm just gonna say you went in there and slaughtered them all. We'll just safely say that.
That's the plan.
That's the plan, at
Um,
least. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the plan. And so speaking of other events down the road, you have I'm gonna skip here a little bit. July 1st, Elite Pro, you're defending your belt, and that's in, am I saying this right? Odin, Indiana?
That is correct. The Odin
Yeah.
Community Center. That's going
And
to
I
be a
hear
very, very big night for me.
there might be some special things there. So anybody in the area, you definitely want to attend that one.
I mean, if you put two and two together, it's pretty clear out there, but I'll let things, get situated and figured out and announced or whatever. But for me, that is going to be probably, I mean, if, with what we're speculating is going on, this truly will be the biggest night of my career so far. I mean, to say right now, the one of the biggest goals I've had since I started, one of my first goals was I wanted to wrestle for JCW in front of the Juggalos at the Gathering, and that that goal, it could still happen, right? But it's changed over time, through my experiences in wrestling, through things I've heard, for me also taking the business more serious. That might not be, one of those things that's right up there anymore. But one of my other goals that became the bigger goal was I wanted to wrestle in front of the Zooligans because
Yeah.
without the Zooligans, I am nothing. I could put in all this fucking work. Like, truthfully, they really do help push me because I am one of them. I
Yeah.
represent every single fucking one of them, and I have a duty to, represent them in the fullest way possible. So the fact that that night there's a good chance that I'm going to wrestle in front of a lot of Zooligans. I mean, that is to me a fucking huge, huge moment and a huge honor. And for it to be the first title defense as well, I mean, just all culminating. What a wonderful moment, if all that goes the way that, hoping.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we wish you the best of luck, man. I really wish I could be there to see it in action. And
Hey, I mean, it'll be on the internet after. We'll have it on YouTube. So, if you guys can't be there in person, which I understand, that is a pretty a far distance.
yeah.
Little trip.
It's
Yeah,
about
I need to make it out that way eventually, man. Like it's definitely a goal of mine to go to Camp Zool. Like that's like a bucket list thing. I gotta be there. Like
To go
I
or
mean
perform?
to go. I mean, I'd love to perform there too, of course, but like just to go and attend would
well,
be fine.
I will say one cool thing about this year, and maybe it'll motivate you to want to go to a future one even more.
Oh, I'm already motivated to go.
Well, I mean, this might even make you want to go more. I don't fucking know. Either way. So this year is gonna be really special because Concrete's going. He's not
Yeah.
performing, but he's going.
Yeah.
And I'm very thankful that he took my advice on that because I mean, I'm just happy because that's my boy, that's my brother. I get to see him. I mean, I saw him right before I left, but I get to see him all the way across country. And he's one of those people because he's out here killing it again and he's working his ass off. I'll see him more often, which is fucking awesome. But having a little bit of the Northwest there with me, and especially with hosting and shit, like without just for anybody who didn't know, without concrete, I would not have like been able to dive as deep into the underground as I did. Like without him, I probably wouldn't even be here right now. He was the dude who opened up that doorway. I mean, ICP opened it up first, but he opened up like to the basement of the underground, you know. He's like, yo,
Yeah.
you wanna see what's up? This is where it's really at.
He's like, there's even
And,
more under grandma's porch there. We got to go down there.
I mean, concrete and I go way back. Like, I mean, I was like 14 coming to his shows.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think. Like, dude used to come to my house and shit, like sit there and play Black Ops and just bullshit. My grandparents knew him. Like, they loved him. Like, I've known that dude forever. I've seen him go through so much shit. And, when I met him, I looked up to him because he was on SKR at the time with Radzikel. Like, that was during the days of the underground being like at its, like, that was a peak of horrorcore, I feel like, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna now, like, it all comes full circle. He gets to see me do my shit now, at camp, and it's just nice. It's an awesome moment that he's gonna be there to witness that. Because, like I
Yeah.
said, without him, there's a lot of things with me probably would never have happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Concrete's a great dude, man. I've shared the stage with him plenty of times. He actually was just here this last weekend for a show. We were at Crypticon, so we missed it. But yeah, he was just here. Bump into him, occasionally, and it's always nice talking to him. He's a good dude, and I want to get him on the show one day too, just so we can talk horror with him. So it's going to be good for you to have a chance to, reunite at Camp Zool, and like you said, have a slice of Washington there, and and it'll be awesome for him to get to see you do what you do.
Yeah,
So
I'm really excited for it.
yeah. So for everybody listening, you can go to campzool.com for tickets. Camp starts June 2nd. So it's June 2nd and 3rd in Williamsburg, Ohio. And I haven't gone, but I mean, I've kept an eye on things the last 2 years that they've done it, and it's a blast. I mean, just
Yeah,
from what I've seen, I can tell it looks like a hell of a time. But you've been there yourself, you've hosted. I did have a quick question for you about camp. Do you think down the road they might add wrestling to the event?
absolutely, without a doubt. Um, it's definitely something that's been in the talk since the first. There's things that, come in the way of kind of making it happen, but it'll definitely happen because the Zooligans want it, and I fucking want it too. I mean, I'm really pushing, trust me, because this is my life. These are the two things
Yeah,
that mean the most to me. And
yeah.
also, they want wrestling too. I mean, you know, it's no secret that they're all wrestling fans.
Oh
Like
yeah, for sure.
everybody on fucking, I mean, everybody on the label is a wrestling fan because everybody has dropped some kind of wrestling verse. I mean, fuck, look at super famous fun time guys. They wear lucha masks. Of course they're
Yeah.
wrestling fans, you
Yep.
know? Um, so definitely you will see wrestling one day. I just
Yeah.
don't know when. I don't know the logistics, how it's gonna happen. But I can guarantee you when it fucking happens, I'm gonna be collecting faces and the Zilligans will be there witnessing it.
Just walking around with a big old sack full of faces, just burlap sack.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right,
I did
one day I'll see you there.
I will say that, one thing I could see happening before a full on wrestling show though, and it's just, what I've been thinking here. So like it should be the month of October. We're really shooting to make things happen. But there is a tour going on called Schlock Treatment. and it is two companies, Mid Death Pro and ZPW, coming together. Um, there's no ring, there's no ring shows outside of haunted houses, and no ring death matches have become more popular over the last couple years. I mean, it's really become a big thing. And you can get away with doing these no ring shows a little bit easier than you can just a regular wrestling show, because you can just kind of label as like theater or whatever, theater arts. So I could see that happening maybe before a full on wrestling show at camp,
Right.
which would make sense, especially because the location and everything. But even then, who knows? But that's just my prediction of what I think would be a possibility.
You'd have a brawl in the old saloon they have there.
Dude, that'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I think wrestling there in general would be awesome. But yeah, absolutely.
Terrortown
Like,
might not care for the damage in the end, but it would make for a great show.
absolutely would. I can definitely guarantee that if I first time wrestling Terrortown, you best believe I'm trying to fucking brawl around that motherfucker and have some fun. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to break nothing, because look, we might all fucking come from the Juggalo world, but we're not all fucking sitting here doing trashy ass dumb shit like you see at the gathering. Hey,
Yep.
let's fucking blow up the porta potties. Let's fuck up property that's fucking not ours. No, we
Let's
have
damage
fucking
things so
class
they don't
over
want to
here.
bring us back again.
Exactly. Like, we have
Yeah.
class over here. Like,
Yep.
yeah, we might be wild. Yeah, we might wear our forever faces and fucking sit here and cuss and do our shit. But we got respect for the fucking venue. We got respect for each other. I mean, Terror Town, they're really good to us. They like all of us. They treat us real, real well. And as long as we're good to them, they're going to be good back. I mean, because it's a good relationship, having the
Yeah.
Zooligans there, having AXE. That helps Terrortown a lot, and also it helps us as well, because we have a place that we can call home every year. So
Right.
instead of fucking it up like you see people doing everywhere else, I mean, shit. I can say right now, my 3 gatherings I fucking went to, man, people really shit all over Legend Valley. Not everybody, but there's a lot of
Hopefully not
people who
literally.
did. Sadly, I will tell you, people definitely did. It's a fucking gathering. There was a lot of nasty shit.
I'm
But
sure.
like, people sat there and just, fucked up Legend Valley. When you got the dude, I think his name's Steve Trickle, he runs that shit. He's super nice. He's cool as hell. He loves the Juggalos. And yet they're still just like, no, let's go fuck up his property. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
just something you're never gonna see at camp. And I'm very thankful for that.
There's definitely a feeling of respect just between the Zooligan audience and a little bit more maturity.
Yeah.
I mean, like you, I grew up listening to the clowns, but as I got older and older, I started drifting away. And I'll say, like, a la Zululu kind of pulled me back into that underground scene. I was listening to different styles of hip hop. I mean, I've always been a twisted head anyway, but like I was mostly listening to other types of rap. And then I found those three and I feel like I'm back again, like just back in that similar vibe. But it's, as I said, it's more mature and
Yeah,
it just seems
absolutely.
like,
I agree.
yeah, it's like I don't even really want to compare it to like a Juggalo vibe. It's more like, I don't know. I'm not sure. It's just a family vibe, more of like a real family vibe to me,
Well, when
and
we say we
not
are
so much
one, we
judgment.
mean it. Yeah, that's the big thing. There's not as much judgment. Because at the end of the day, we're not sitting here in the middle of the dumb beef. I mean, some people care about it, I guess, but not really. Like, when you're part of this world, the beef don't matter.
No,
So whatever's happening between Twisted and ICP, who gives a shit? Like, there's
right,
just this
right,
positivity over here. And I
yeah,
think the biggest thing why this works so well over here like this is because at the end of it all, I hate saying, but with all that drama and shit going on in the Juggalo world, there are people who wanted and yearned for something that was, they still gave him the same feeling without all the bullshit. And that's where all this comes into play. I mean,
Exactly.
Ala Zululu have created something very special with the Zuligans, and I'm very thankful to be one of the OGs that was here from the beginning. I wasn't here from the very, very beginning, like the Maniacs days, and I wasn't here for Head of Horns. But I came in during Psycho, and I have seen all of this grow, and I'm so fucking proud of my brothers. I'm so, so proud of them. I'm very proud of Super Famous Fun Time guys as well being in the fold. LLE as a whole, like just long live evil. This is the future of the underground and of the wicked shit. And anybody who disagrees, I mean, look, I'll fucking call shots. You can like Ouija and you can like all that shit on the other side of the fence, and that's cool. Like what you like, but you can't fucking deny the fact that Zool is the future. Like there is nobody else that has the same potential to take over this fucking whole thing like them. Nobody. You don't fucking see. I mean, like I said, I mentioned Ouija. Ouija's the only thing the psychopathic has. And he's doing good for what he's doing. But when you got ICP sitting there saying, when you got Violent J, be like, yeah, this is gonna be the fucking the future of the wicked shit right here. Nah, that's not the future of the wicked shit. That's some weird trap, weird shit. When I think of the wicked shit, I don't think of this weird party music that has that trap sound. I think of fucking murder and death and funny shit as well. But I think horror, and Zool is bringing you horror, 110%.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, so for everybody listening, if you want to see that live in person, once again, head to Camp Zool June 2nd and 3rd, Williamsburg, Ohio. Go to campzool.com and get your tickets now because it's not too much longer before everything kicks off.
Okay, and also, anybody going to camp, just I know I made a post about it on my birthday, but there's going to be a shirt dropping at camp. It's by the same guy who just did my last design. I was going to do it as an exclusive, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, man, I know I'm going to be selling these outside of it. But camp is going to be where you can get it first. I don't know if it's going to be in the Emporium yet or not, but there is a good chance it might be. Either way, if you hear this before camp, come buy a fucking shirt because I need to make some money. It's a far drive. It's a long weekend.
Before we wrap up, a couple quick things. One, personally, I not immersed in the whole scene, but Crypto showed me some Zool videos, and I fucking love the horror aspect of it. And how, since horror seems to be our thing here, what's your earliest memory of being exposed to horror?
Earliest memory would be, I mean, besides your horror characters in wrestling and all, I would definitely say, remember seeing one of the Friday the 13th movies as I was like really little. Just seeing it, flipping through channels. And for some reason, like the earliest like memory scene wise, I don't know I think it's just because it's a scary thought. I don't remember which Friday movie it was, but this dude is in a porta potty. Got this black leather jacket on and shit. He's in the porta potty though, and Jason starts stabbing through the fucking walls with the machete. And that's a scary thought because if that happens, like you're fucked.
That sucks
Like,
because you can't really run. You're
pants around your ankles,
middle of taking a shit, and no.
What a way to go!
That's like sacred time. That's not the time to be trying to kill me. Wait till I'm done.
Can I at least wipe my ass?
Let
and
me
then
finish
chase you
first.
down?
Seriously. Yeah. Okay, and then you mentioned the horror in wrestling. What was your favorite horror gimmick in wrestling? Besides your
I
own.
mean, the one that always was like, and I think a lot of people are gonna say their go-to, you know, originally it was always Undertaker, and Undertaker
Oh
will
yeah.
always be special.
Yep.
But there's more than, like there's others that I like as well, though. I definitely think, obviously, Mankind, one of the best horror. It wasn't complete horror, but it definitely was a horror gimmick.
Early
He had,
Mankind, when he like first debuted, was like fucked up. When he would come out like pulling his hair
yeah, and I
out and
think
shit.
at that point,
That was scary. Like, to be honest.
yeah, and that's where I could consider it more of a horror character, like those early vignettes with the rats and being in the fucking basement, and
Yep.
where he's playing the piano and talking about how he broke his fingers with a hammer because his mom just wanted him to play piano. Like, that's a fucking crazy, like,
Yeah.
that's so crazy, dude. Who would do
Yeah.
that? It
Yeah.
really did make you think, like, what the fuck is up with this dude? And that was still at the time where wrestling was, I mean, people knew it was a work, but it was still being believed, at that point, a lot more than it is now.
It
So
was
yeah,
it kind of
Mankind,
crossed lines. Like there was like up to that point it was just like good guy and bad guy. But we didn't have like the bad guy was a heel, he was a villain, but we didn't have like those fucked up maniacs like that. I mean, there was
no,
like shit in Japan, there was crazy stuff, but
well,
like
I
we
was
didn't
about to
have
go
that.
with the Japan guys too. Like, for me, I think, like, just Jared Savage as a whole, like, I take shit from everybody, not intentionally, but it's wrestling. There's nothing original anymore.
Yeah.
I get inspiration from almost everybody, though, who's been a monster. I mean,
Right.
and for me, because there's not that many I can name that the list. Like I said, you got Undertaker, Mankind, you got Kane. Kane was my favorite wrestler growing up.
Right.
Kane was, I mean, the way he would move, if you look at, like, the way he would set up, the way he would move his head first and then his body would follow, very Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees-esque vibes there,
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Um, Kane absolutely was a horror character to the fullest. And then you got your guys in Japan, like Super Leatherface. He was, well, there's two of them. There's
Yep.
Corporal Kirchner,
Yep.
and then there was another one, which, you know what? I know he won't hear this, more than likely. But that dude's on Instagram. The other one, I think his
Yeah.
name's Rick. Rick's
He,
is
he
his
might.
name.
He's been
Well,
following us lately, so
I was gonna say, he's on Instagram as Leatherface Japan.
yep.
Super good dude. He fucking, I reached out to him one time and said, hey man, I really enjoyed your work. Enjoyed, Corporal Kirchner's work as well, doing the gimmick. And he's given a lot of advice. He's fucking sent, he's spammed my shit with likes. Super nice guy.
Yep.
But, like I said, you got those gimmicks. Hell, then even going back over here, like, people don't really think of him because you always get caught up on all the other big monster gimmicks. But you can't forget Abyss. Abyss was a
Oh
great gimmick,
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Shit,
especially
I wasn't
like
even thinking of him.
before
Damn.
before he started talking. Fucking phenomenal. Once
Yeah.
he started talking, don't get me wrong, he was still scary, even up in like the Hogan era, because he had the bat that had the fucking, or not the bat, it was a 2x4 with nails and shit through it. That's
Yep.
scary.
Yeah.
And then even like the most recent Matanza Cuerto from Lucha Underground. That's Jeff Cobb.
Yeah.
That dude I take shit from too.
Yep.
Like, the way that motherfucker came in, I think that dude was perfect. Now, I
Yep.
will say, monsters don't really do a lot of fucking flippy shit, but you know what? He can do the flippy shit, so let him. Who gives a
And it
fuck?
still worked.
I
Yeah.
don't. But like,
You
that
know,
dude, when he was in that gimmick, I believe that he was, like, to a degree, even though obviously I'm in this shit, there was a second there where I could believe, like, man, that dude really could be a fucking killer if he wanted to be.
Yep.
that's how I felt about the Brood when I was a kid watching. I was like, oh my God, they might really be vampires or something. You'd see them
Well,
walking down, and same thing. They might not always be like super technical in the ring. I mean, they all had their own different things that they could do. I love Edge, especially. But just the theatrics were cool enough. Like the lights go out, And then all of a sudden, Gangrel's standing there and he sprays blood in your face, and it just looked great.
One set of like wrestlers too that go into my like inspiration though, gimmick wise, and I don't think anyone would think of it because I mentioned monsters, right? All the Samoans, all of them, from the Wild Samoans of Authentica to the
Yeah.
Samoan SWAT
'Cause
team.
they always
to
played their character as like savages.
Yeah.
exactly. And when I see the way that they would do their shit, it was perfect. I mean, between the headbutts, just being legitimate wild men out there, they didn't seem like they could be controlled. And like, if you look at like an example, Kamala, right? Kamala had a handler. Now, he wasn't a Samoan gimmick, but his gimmick worked with that kind of shit. Same idea, being from the islands, being a crazy fucking savage monster.
Yep.
He had a handler. He had kimchi. And then like you go fast forward to like the Samoan bulldozer Umaga, right? Umaga had Armando Estrada. I think monsters should have handlers. When I was up there, I had Feel Good. Down here right now, I don't really have it. I'm a part of a group called the Bulletproof Posse. I just debuted with them, and we just got a manager. All this shit. We're probably going to change our name, but I have a manager there, and I want him to do the handler stuff. But I think that right there is such a key vital role. Because realistically, me being a monster walking out to that ring, who and what is stopping me from grabbing some, innocent person on the other side of the guardrail and ripping them over and beating the shit out of them? What stops me as a monster? If you looked at this from a shoot perspective, like if it was real, why wouldn't I do that? If I have a handler, like said, like how Kamala had Kimchi or Umaga with Armando Estrada, they brought them to the ring, kept them focused on what they're doing. They might have got a little out of hand for a second, but the manager would always round them back up.
Yep.
Telling you, all this shit between the Samoans and some of that kind of shit, that all plays into my character too, and my inspiration.
Yeah, you need like a Paul Bearer type of character or something to keep you from going out there and ripping everybody's faces off.
You say Paul Bear, and I love Paul Bear, but I've got a man. I mean, because by the time this comes out, we're going to be real close to camp. It's not really a big secret that I do characters for the hosting. There's a Paul Bear inspired character that I will be doing one night, but I won't get too into it. But God, it's going to be an interesting one because it's going to be interesting. Is the best way to put it without really giving any spoilers. Oh God. I'm just saying, like, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also like, motherfucker. Billy Obey can get me to do a lot of shit. And this is one of the things where people be like, God damn, he really got Jared to do that, huh?
Don't let him hear this, because then he'll just keep adding more things to the list.
That motherfucker knows.
Like, all right, Jared, I want you to wear a tutu next year. Okay, are you cool with that?
He got me fucking cat food one time. All right.
Oh,
that's a whole story within itself.
Him.
But yeah, like
that's probably better than the tarantula that Joe ate, right?
I don't know which was worse on that one, to tell you the truth. I thought about that because I saw that side video today that someone uploaded. Definitely thought about that. I was like, man, I think I might have had the better deal out of the two, but it was still gross.
Sure. Well, with all that being said, where's the best place people could keep up on what you got going on and what you're doing and where they could see you next?
I mean, I'm all over social media, every one of my profiles. I mean, because I have one on everything from Facebook to the like page to YouTube, TikTok, everything you can think of, I have.
It would all be under Jared Savage?
Yeah, Jared Savage. Or, I mean, I don't give a shit because people called me by my real name enough. you can fucking find me as Jared Plick because I'm constantly posting there too.
There you go.
That's also the best way is to contact me for bookings as well. I've also got my merch pages over at Storefront Tier. I've got one at Pro Wrestling Tees and Brainbuster Tees, and I've got a lot of shit. I mean, we're talking t-shirts, hoodies, onesies for your baby. I mean, I've got a bunch of different kinds of merch, and I've got a lot of different designs. So I'm kind of a nonstop, fucking gimmick machine when it comes to all this shit. Like I said, everything is directed towards my gimmick, so you can find me wherever. And
Right
all
on,
my
man.
matches
That's
uploaded to
great,
my
man.
YouTube for the most part. There might be
Everybody-
in the future, some companies might tell me I can't upload the footage, I'm sure, because they have their places they do their shit. But for right now, you can find all my matches at my page or look up the companies I work for too.
Okay. All right. Well, once again, everybody listening, go visit Pro Wrestling Tees, Brainbuster Tees, Storefront Tier, go pick up some merch, or just go to Camp Zool on June 2nd and 3rd and grab that exclusive t-shirt that he's going to have there.
And be in Odin on July 1st, goddamn it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You don't want to miss that one either. For sure.
Fuck no, you know.
Well, we want to thank you again for being on the show and being our first wrestler that we've had a chance to have on and chat with for a while. So we're definitely going to have you back down the road when you have some more events coming up.
All right. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. I know we've been talking about doing this forever, and it's taken, man, we've been talking about this for like a year. Damn.
Yeah. 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 I'm glad we were finally able to make it happen.
And good timing,
Also,
too.
Yeah.
Also, I'll throw this in here at the end of the show just because it's funny. Most people don't know, and I would make jokes about it to my homies. I even told Bill about it because I just always thought it was funny. Crypto over here who used to come into my shoot job when I'd work at Subway, and I'd hook him up with free subs. And it was always cool, man. I miss that, man. To be honest, it was always cool when you come in. I just felt bad because sometimes you come in, I'd be busier than a motherfucker. I couldn't even talk, but it was always nice seeing you still.
I manage a Subway and I don't give crypto shit.
Just
don't
be nothing for free.
Sorry.
Just throwing that out there.
That's all good. I would have
don't-
paid for it anyway, man. It was just cool to stop by and chat with somebody, because there's really I don't know too many Zooligans up here, so it was cool to finally get to chat with you about that kind of thing.
It's weird because there's not any Zooligans really up there. It's so fucking weird, man. And I know that eventually it'll grow to being out there, but Washington's a weird place. Washington is really 17% heavy, with the whole ICP fucking, fueled crowds up there. So eventually, though, we'll make our mark up there more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Just keep holding it down because you're the main one left now, motherfucker. It's up to you.
I know, for real. I'm at this point, I'm like, dude, I'll pay out of my own pocket to get those guys up here and make a show happen. So one day we'll have an invasion. But for now, you keep doing your thing out there in Indiana, keep ripping faces off, and we will talk to you soon.
My lords and ladies, Lord Blooddraw here, and you are listening to the Steve and Crypto Show. Now, if you're a horror fan, you know this is the place to be. Ha ha!
And we're back. Want to thank you guys for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed that chat with our friend Jared Savage, and we
I am a real sorry. That's all I've been stuck in my head for through that whole interview. Through that whole interview, it's been stuck.
Fight for your life.
But yeah, thanks, Jared. Thanks for hanging out.
We definitely will have him back again sometime.
I just had a fucked up thought. He mentioned that he used to work at Subway, and his name's Jared.
Not that Jared.
Yeah, it's not that guy.
No.
But yeah, we'll definitely probably talk with him again sometime.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. He's always working. Like, make sure you guys keep up with him. Follow him online. the face collector Jared Savage.
Yeah, sometime in the next week or so, he has his big title match, right?
May 27th,
date?
actually,
Everything?
this
27th?
weekend. Yeah, this weekend
Okay.
he has a fatal 4-way match, and he's putting his belt on the line.
So it is very well could have been a couple days ago, or it could be this weekend,
Yeah,
depending on depending on how my next few days go.
yeah. And, of course, if you were listening, you heard the details about that event July 1st. You know you want to be there.
Is that the big event in that one place that there's rumors going around about?
It may or may not be.
May or may not be.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You know, but put 2 and 2 together and you can figure out where the festivities are going down.
Speaking of festivities, we did mention Crypticon was recently, and our next episode we're going to talk all about Crypticon, and we have a couple guests. We have a local filmmaker, and we also have the Addams family. They are a group of filmmakers that made the film Hellbender that got fucking like blew up after it was on the last drive-in. So we talked to them, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of our favorite shit that we seen there and friends that we ran into and all that cool stuff. Anything else we want to add before we remind them how they can support our show?
Well, I wanted to say for anybody that's listening to this on your way to Camp Zool, have fun. Say hi to Jared for us. Have a great time. Enjoy yourselves.
Yep.
All of that.
Say your prayers, take your vitamins.
That's right. Go to church.
This
I don't have to tell you guys.
Hulkamania is going to be running wild at Camp Zool or something.
Zoolomaniacs.
Zoolomania. Okay. With that being said, don't forget to follow us on social media. He's CryptoZoo88. I am the Steve Strout on Instagram and Twitter. Join the Facebook group. Just search for the Steve and Crypto Show podcast on Facebook, and a group will pop up, and then join it, and then invite a whole shitload of your friends to join it. And then say, hey, friends, these guys are great. You should go over to buymeacoffee.com/SteveCrypto and leave them $1 or $2 to help them pay for upgrading the show and other stuff. They could advertise. They want to advertise in cool places. And what else could they do with the money?
You can take that money and buy yourself a t-shirt or buy a t-shirt for your friends. You can head over to Etsy/shop/Steve and Crypto merch. Get yourself 2 t-shirts. Why not? Get both designs.
Just 2 different ones, yeah.
Get a coffee mug. Get a magnet while you're there. Make your fridge look better.
Definitely be on the lookout, following us and watching us on social media to see where we might be appearing. And come and get some of the other merch, too.
Yeah.
We
I got a
have
couple...
the online merch, and we have the convention merch. 2 different things, so you gotta time it right and catch us where you can.
I got a couple live shows coming up that I can't really say yet, but once they're official, I will. We'll promote them here for sure, like we always do. And I'll likely have some merchandise there as well.
I don't have any live shows coming up, but you can find me on Twitter, hyping the shit out of everything, and reminding you guys to join our Patreon, patreon.com/SteveCrypto, and pledge as low as $1 a month. I think we should come up with a tier, though, just like one tier, kind of like John and Yuki. Be like $26,000, and you can see this video.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to even go that high. Like, you know, maybe give us 10 grand.
But what would we do for 10 grand? Just like quit? 10 grand to make us quit?
I'm not going to give them that satisfaction. No.
How much money
It
would
takes
it
more
take
than
right
that.
now? If somebody was like, I'm so tired of these guys and I'm filthy rich, I'm going to pay them to stop doing this. What's your number?
I mean, we'd have to really talk about the contract because are we able to start up again under a different name?
I would just want enough to retire and have a house.
Yeah.
And I'd fucking quit.
All right, $1 million. We're done.
That's what the fuck you gonna buy with $1 million? A trailer? A trailer and a used car? $1 million don't go very far anymore.
Well, no, but
There was like
I mean that's more than what we're making off this podcast right now, right?
True, but let me tell you, I was walking downtown Port Townsend, and there's a realtor down there. I'm not gonna say the name of it because they want to pay me. I'll say it, but and they have in their window they have a bunch of like properties and homes and stuff that are for sale. And it was about a year ago. They had one. It was a fucking trailer. I think they said it was like a 1981 trailer. And that motherfucker was $750,000.
Holy shit.
For a fucking trailer. And it was on a lot in a small space up at fucking the Seabreeze trailer place.
Wow.
For $750,000 for a fucking trailer.
No offense.
That's how crazy it is. That's
no
why
offense
you
if
say
you
$1
live up
million
there.
and I'm like, what the fuck what you gonna get?
No offense if you're listening and you live in that area, but those trailers are nothing special.
Even if they were, it's a trailer for $750,000.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like you could barely get a house for that anymore. It's nuts. So when you said $1 million, I was like, you ain't shutting me up for $1 million.
I mean, again, it's more than what we're making just sitting here right now.
Let's get up around 10.
That's a good start, or at least I thought it was.
50 million, and I'll never speak to crypto again in my life. That's a good deal. That's the tear. The $50 million tear. We will never speak to each other again.
Give me like $100 million.
We'll get 25 million each, and we're fucking dead to each other.
I tell you what, you send me $100 million, I will slap Steve's neighbor in the face right now.
I'll slap that motherfucker for $10.
Send PayPal. Just send it to me right now. I will walk over there. I'll even film it for that much.
How much?
$100 million.
That's stupid.
You send me that, I will slap your neighbor.
That's not gonna happen. I guess my neighbor's not getting slapped.
Well, when you're talking like that, of course it's not going to happen. You got to put it into the atmosphere.
I think this is our cue to shut up. I think
when we start getting into this nonsense conversation, it's time to wrap it up.
Like we said, we've been up to a lot of shit and crazy busy. And obviously, we've been too busy, and it's rotting our brains. So I think we need to rest for a couple days, and then we'll get that Crypticon recap out for them after our brains are a little bit rested. I almost said rusted. Like, they're rusted now.
They are rusted now.
They're rusted now. We need to rest them. With that being said, we told you guys how to support us. Go leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to the Steven Crypto Show. We love you and appreciate you for it. And we thank you. And we will see you on episode
118. Thank y'all for listening.
Thank CryptoZoo for being the number guy, remembering all the numbers and URLs. Bye, guys.
Peace.